I'm Ali Khashani, co-founder and CEO of Serve Robotics. Let me start by asking you a question. Why do we think that it is okay to deliver 2-pound burritos in 2-ton cars? We do this 20 million times every single day here in the US. And if you stop to think about it, it's just crazy. Today, if you order something from China, it costs $2 to get it to your front door. But if you order it from Chinatown, it costs $10. Isn't that strange? The reason is that we haven't been able to introduce any automation or efficiency to last mile transportation for a few centuries. Just compare this to long distance shipping. A single cargo ship today with 20 sailors can move more goods than the entire British Navy in the 1700s with 100,000 people. That's a 5,000 times increase in labor productivity. On the other hand, over the same period of time, labor productivity in last mile delivery has gone up by about 2x. So 2x versus 5,000x. That explains why delivery in last mile cost us $10 today. Last year, DoorDash revenue grew 35%, but its losses grew almost 200%. Delivery growing so fast, but it's still unprofitable because it's so labor intensive. And that's the problem we are trying to tackle here. Half of all deliveries in the United States are just 2.5 miles or less. In cities like LA, in fact, they're less than 1.3 miles. This is a huge opportunity for robotic delivery, especially robots like this.
Lights. That's so cute. There it goes. Good luck, little buddy.
What is this future we're living in?
What is happening? No way. That is a robot?
Robot. Oh my god.
What in the heck?
Okay, bye. Peace. Thanks for the grub.
What the heck?
These are all social media videos of our robots that have been operating in LA for the last few years. Now, it's a really good time to be in the business of making robots. On one hand, we are experiencing a labor shortage. At the same time, there is an inflation and wage inflation in general. And also, there's a legal battle between Uber and DoorDash and the government over worker classification, over caps on how much they can charge restaurants. It's just a very uncertain time for last mile delivery. At the same time, the cost of robots is coming down and the capabilities are increasing thanks to AI. This really fuels our mission to bring the cost of last mile delivery down from $10 today to less than $1. Just imagine what kind of industries are going to be born if last mile delivery was 90% cheaper than it is today. What kind of new applications that we can't even imagine today. By bringing that cost down, we can really revitalize local economies. But at the same time, we would make cities greener and safer. We would reshape how cities look and function today. Now, this is a good time to tell you a little bit more about Serve Robotics and myself and why are we so uniquely qualified to be addressing this problem. I have a PhD in robotics and I started working on autonomy first during the DARPA Grand Challenge. I then went on to start a few companies and I've been very fortunate to have 3 exits along the way. In fact, I joined Postmates after it acquired my second company and I started a new division there called Postmates X, focused on a number of innovative projects. And that's when Serve was born in 2017 inside Postmates. 2 years later, in 2019, we launched our robots in Los Angeles for the first time. And in 2020, we were acquired by Uber. The following year, I took my team out of Uber and formed Serve Robotics. Since spinning off, we have also brought some incredible strategic investors on board like NVIDIA, 7-Eleven, and Delivery Hero. But on top of that, we've also signed a major deal with Uber to put up to 2,000 robots on their platform over the coming years. Since we performed our first delivery for Uber early last year, our delivery volume has been growing 30% month over month on Uber Eats. And if you go to LA right now, you can open Uber Eats, place an order from 300 different restaurants, and one of our robots could bring you your food. But here's my favorite part. We are the most reliable last mile delivery method. Our robots complete 99.9% of all the deliveries they take on. That is almost an order of magnitude better than couriers. The reason we are so ahead of curve in cracking the code of urban last mile delivery is that we were born inside the industry. We designed our robots, our operation, our go-to-market, all using really valuable and unique data that only we had access to inside Postmates. We ran thousands of really sophisticated simulations using historical delivery data from Postmates to figure out what our robots should be capable of, how to deploy them every day, how to go to market, what segments of the market to actually focus on, and many more questions. For example, we chose not to go to campuses where a lot of other sidewalk robots were focused on because we realized that it's not a very profitable environment. The basket sizes are too small, it's very peaky and seasonal, and just the TAM is so much smaller. Overall, that means that robots make less revenue. And when you have less revenue, you need to make your robots really, really cheap, which means you can't really include some important sensors and pieces of autonomy that's needed to make these robots self-driving. As a result of all this, we were the first company to announce that we had commercialized level 4 autonomy. That's a really big milestone in our industry. Now, if you don't remember your levels of autonomy, your Tesla is level 2, meaning that you're holding the steering and keeping your eyes on the road at all time because you are in charge of safety. That's true for level 1, 2, and 3. Humans are in the loop to keep the vehicle safe. Level 4 is the first time the robots can operate by themselves without having to be constantly overseen. And sometimes they might actually need help, and that's when humans can intervene. But because the robots can do so much by themselves, that means that we can really leverage labor better and make this a much more economical delivery method. As a result of all these unique insights and our execution over the last 6 years, and having built some really incredible software and hardware to make a custom-made, autonomous, last-mile delivery vehicle, we are now in pole position in this robotic race. We are leading in autonomy in our hardware design that makes robots capable of navigating cities reliably and also do so safely. We are also the only company with a major contract with the largest delivery platform in the world. And all of the above means that our unit economics and your cost structure is superior because of reasons such as having the best autonomy or having higher rate of robot utilization. I should also take a moment to highlight our environmental impact. About 2% of global CO2 emissions are generated by cars used for last mile shopping and errands. That's roughly 500 megatons of CO2 being emitted every single year that by replacing those car trips we can get rid of. But that's not the only thing that we do when we get rid of cars. We also make cities safer. 1.5 million people die each year in car accidents. It takes 3,000 of our robots to have the same kinetic energy of a single car, meaning that if a car comes to contact with a person, it puts 3,000 times more force on them than one of our robots. So the risk of coming in contact with a robot is a bruise. The risk of coming in contact with a car is death. So what's next for us? We are heads down, scaling up to service our contract with Uber. And we have a long list of other partners that we are also in conversations with so that we can bring these robots to more customers and more cities. Our contract with Uber could lead us to over 60 million in ARR alone and to reach profitability. That is our first contract ever signed, but the world needs a lot more robots. So we are heads down, bringing robots to life. Thank you for your time. And if you have any questions or if you want to join this mission, feel free to contact me.